Hi guys! So today we're going to do a tutorial on how to render a sheer dress on Procreate. I'm going to go over it really fast because you know how I feel about these things. What's really important is that you have an outline ready. So I prepared already the face and the skin and my ink outline. So on your ink outline, I want you to make it a reference layer. Will look like this, and then I want you to choose your layer on top, your selector tool, make sure it's on automatic, and then choose your skin color and color drop. It has to be on a different layer than anything else, right? So you start all over. I am going to shade her breasts because it's sheer, and this will give you an indication of volume, and it will be three-dimensional. So it's very, very important that you do this before you start doing the dress, because you want to have that feel of, well, the volume of the body, right? And this is basically how I would do it. I'm not doing it as thorough as I normally would because it will be covered both by lace and fabric, but it's really important that you have an indication of it, like so. And then you add a new layer on top of it. Just going to give her legs as well. And you don't have to be so thorough because nobody's going to see it. It's just very like slight indication of it. Nope. I'm going to add a new layer and then I'm just going to deselect this. I'm just going to quickly put on the heavy white items. And it's on a separate layer from any skin color. Remember that. And so I'm going to add the white. I'm just going to color pick it from the picture. It's slightly off-white, but it's still a little bit hard to see, but I'm adding it to the sides and to the ribbon and to the skirt of the dress because that's the most white on her, right? Like so. And while I have the whole thing selected like this, because the dress is on a separate layer, you can just now erase where you want the skin color to come out. And then you use the smudge tool and you blend it and you press the white color back up a little bit so it will give you indications of creases. And if you want more, you can just erase more so they know, oh, she has legs in there, right? So pick a new layer again and add the bodice of the dress. And you do the same thing. You erase and you smudge. And it's not supposed to be a piece of art. It's just a quick sketch because you're going to have lace on top of it. The most important thing is that you show an indication of the curves. I'm just going to put a gray in between the ribbons because the ribbons are sewn onto the dress. And that means there'll be a shadow underneath, and I find that really important to sort of show. Also, just to quickly indicate that the ribbons are braided, like so. I'm gonna shade her waist and the side of her boobs and the armpits and the inner arms, maybe, depending on where you want the light to come from. It's important you do it now. I'm going to shade under the breast as well because, well, the volume. And I'm just going to quickly shade parts of the skirt. We're going to go back to the skirt. It's just now when we have it here, like so. So what I want you to do now is to choose a new layer and start drawing the lace. Like so. I'm just going to do the stomach. I'm going to do the sleeves. Like so. And I'm going to do the roses on the shoulder. And what I will do here is now, instead of doing it double, I'm just going to take a 3-finger swipe down the screen and copy paste this. It requires that you do it on a separate layer, otherwise you will copy paste everything on that layer. So do it on separate layers. I'm gonna just take my studio pen and do the neckline. And now I'm going to use the lace brush. It's available on my website, annikamortensen.com. Also a tutorial on how to make your own one. And I'm just going to use the lace brush for generic lace. So that's on the shoulder straps and down the breasts, because you can see this lace, but you can't really see what it is. So this will be perfect for that. And then I'm just going to, you know, give it a white line around it, an outline, so it becomes a little bit more apparent. Put some leaves on just to make it look a little bit more authentic to the original. Just gonna color this in a little bit more. It's a little on the light side, so I'm gonna make it a little whiter, like so. Yeah. So now I'm gonna start doing the hips. I'm gonna do rows, leaves, like that. It doesn't have to be identical to the picture. It's just as long as you keep like being loyal to what the designer wanted in the dress, then you're good. But you still have some interpretation freedom. You can't, it's not a precise picture. You just have to sort of interpret the style and the emotion of the dress. And here I'm just going to do the lace on the top of the skirt, like that. And I'm going to go down. You know, I try to do this as quickly as possible. For those who know me, you know this. There's no point in watching, you know, an hour-long tutorial, because I know you're probably itching to do something yourself. So I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible, not be too perfect, and then you're welcome to ask questions in the comment section or on my website if you want. So listen, so now I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I do it on the side, and because I have more lace on the same layer, I use the selector freehand tool like this, and then I do the 3-finger swipe, and then I put it on the other side of the dress, so I don't have to do the same thing twice, right? Very easy. I'm gonna do some shading underneath the lace, especially the parts that will appear like they come out a little bit more because they're sewn onto the dress. I find this is a very important step, and a step a lot of people miss. So there has to be some kind of shading underneath, like that. And then you smudge it with the smudge tool. And sometimes I would say you could even go darker with some of the shading in areas of the dress. But since we're trying to keep this down to about 10 minutes, I'm just gonna stick with this. Oh, I forgot a little bit of lace down here. The sleeve, fixed it. So now we're gonna do the skirt. So it's a chiffon dress, and there's a lot of fabric in this skirt. And so it will fold a lot, and it will have thin folds, not the deep, heavy folds that taffeta would have. So it will have a lot of tiny folds like this. And you know, I'm just gonna make a deeper fold. The darker the color, the deeper the fold, right? So where it comes up, I want you to highlight, and where it goes down, I want you to low light, so shadow. And I want a deep shadow here, and I'm gonna smudge it all. If this dress had not been white, let's say it would have been gray, I would have used black as my deepest, but I would have highlighted with white as well. It would still look gray. But now it's a white dress, so the highlights are a little harder to show you, but you know what I mean by now. If you've seen my other tutorials, you know I do this. And I want more creases. And I'm not gonna take them from, you know, start to bottom. I just put them in there because the fabric is very alive and it's very thin. Just gonna darken this, smudge it up. Darken this, smudge it up. And that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I went very fast, maybe too fast. I hope not. You're welcome to ask questions, subscribe, or go to my website.